Welcome on in, everybody. This is Three Bold Takes. Freddie, Chase, and Quinn here, and always our partner SeatGeek. Use our discount code Three Bold Takes for $20 off your first ticket purchase, guys. We're always excited to partner with them. You go to a concert, go to a game. Just always use our discount code to save yourself $20. That's some nachos, that's some popcorn, that's some candy, that's a fresh drink, whatever you like, guys. That's $20 more in your pocket. Make sure to use it. Now, we already did a Penn State Ohio State look at that game. We already did a prediction for that one, and Quinn stated this is probably the best game of the weekend. In my mind, I knew he was wrong because there was one game that stood before it, and that's the Pitt SMU matchup. And sadly, College Game Day is not going to be in Texas for this game at SMU between these two. Pitt 7-0, 3-0 in conference. SMU with the one loss, undefeated in conference as well. SMU 7.5-point favorite. Over under is 59.5 and a 7 p.m. game. And one more factoid for you: this is the best Pittsburgh Panthers start since 1982 when they had Dan Marino. Guys, I'm not saying Eli Holstein is Dan Marino, but am saying, no, I'm just kidding, guys. But this is a really cool achievement for Pitt. This is a huge game. Quinn, I'm going to you first, brother. What are you thinking on this game? I know you're pretty excited about it.
Oh, I'm so excited for this game. This feels like early 1980s, back when Pitt was relevant. They were winning national titles in the 60s and 70s with Tony Dorsett. And you got SMU. They were huge during the Pony Express days with Eric Dickerson. This feels like a huge throwback game to see these two teams playing in a football game that means a lot for the
Yep.
scope and scale of the season here in 2024. I think a lot of people hear SMU is a 7.5 point favorite, and they go, "That's weird. Why are they a 7.5 point favorite? Pitt hadn't lost a game." Go look at Pitt's schedule. All right, Pitt has squeaked out some close games. West Virginia, I'll give them a bye. That's the backyard brawl, big rivalry game. Cincinnati, another close game. They almost took an L in. And it's there's more than just that. They just squeaked out against Duke. They squeaked out against Cal. They did get a dominant victory. Or sorry, not Duke. Duke was never mind. They didn't play Duke, but they did squeak out against Cal. They squeaked out against they played a pretty ugly game against North Carolina. They squeaked out on Cincinnati. They've had a lot of close calls. SMU, on the other hand, has been incredibly dominant in almost every single game they've played. I think Duke was the team that they barely squeaked out on, and then SMU had a close loss really early in the year in what is turning out to be an extremely important game against BYU. They lost by 3 points. Uh, I'm riding with the Pony Express. I think this is where Pitt falls off the undefeated train. I do not like them going on the road here. They've looked less impressive on the road than they have at home. SMU, on the other hand, has looked super impressive at home, minus that 1 3 point loss to BYU, which again, they held BYU to 18 points.
Yeah.
Look how good BYU has been this year. They made BYU look pedestrian. All right. Now, again, BYU won the game, but it was a highly competitive affair. I like SMU to get a win here and start propping themselves towards a potential ACC title game run, depending on what happens, obviously, with Clemson and with Miami down the stretch.
Yeah, to be honest, I saw this game and I was excited, but I wasn't, right? Like I think both of these two teams are good. But I think that one team is overrated compared to the other, and that team is Pitt. Now, granted, they are undefeated, 7-0. Cool, awesome, congratulations. But I think this is where it comes to an end as well. I'm gonna go SMU to win this game. I don't know if they cover the 7.5. That seems a little absurd. I'm gonna go like a 3 or 4 point win here for SMU. Um, they did just barely squeak out a win at Duke, and maybe they were looking ahead to this game because Duke was, kind of just a speed bump on the way to this game, a ranked matchup here. But when you look at SMU at home, my goodness, 66-42 against TCU, 42-16 against Florida State, the worst team in the conference. I'll say that again. They probably the worst team in the conference, which is wild to say. And they're finally coming home after 3 straight road games. against Louisville, Stanford, and Duke. Let's keep that in mind. They have played 3 straight road games, so they're finally coming home. The fans are going to be excited for them to be back home. So give me SMU to win, but not cover the spread.
I'm super excited for this game, like I mentioned. Hold on, I'm reading some stuff up. If you guys don't know much about SMU this season, Brett Lashley, the head coach, is a wonderful head coach. He was an offensive coordinator with SMU before he became the head coach after Sonny Dykes took the TCU job. And Lashley helped a record-setting offense in 2019. They were amazing that season, and they got their first top 25 ranking since 1986 in that season. So that's huge for them. And then now Rhett Lashley is the head coach. If you know the name at all, if you're an SEC fan watching this video, he previously worked with Gus Malzahn at Auburn, and he worked for Arkansas at one point. So Lashley's been around, and he's found a sticking point with the SMU, and look what he's doing with them. 7-1, 4-0. And like Quinn mentioned, this team has not been this good since the Pony Express days. He's got Kevin Jennings playing a wonderful game out at quarterback. He struggled the last couple with completions, but overall, this guy's performed extremely well. And then on the other side, Pitt's been wonderful. Eli Holstein was a former Alabama commit, and I believe he was on campus for a year before he transferred. Pitt has been a saving grace. I think he's leading the country in touchdowns thrown, if I'm not mistaken, passing touchdowns at the 17 rate that he has. But he's absolutely just done everything he can. Pittsburgh is a heavy passing offense, but so is SMU. I think for me, I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go Pitt here. I really like what I've seen from Holstein. I really like how he kind of throws the ball around the field a whole lot, and he puts it in different playmakers' hands, and he lets them do their thing. That's what I like. I've watched a couple more games, but I know SMU's offense is pretty lethal. I can't lie. SMU's offense is really run and gun, doesn't slow down much, and really puts pressure on the defense to have to make a stop. This is a huge game for Pitt to continue what they're doing. Here's the hype. You're on everybody's radar. This is the best season since Marino. Can you perform up to standards? I'm going to take Pitt in this one to finish it off. I think this is a wonderful game. If you're not paying attention to smaller ACC games like this, that is like, hey, this isn't the big name of Clemson or Louisville or Florida State or whatever. This is a great game. This is where parity in college football happens, is in a game like this when you've had a lot of great quarterbacks or other players come to some of these smaller schools and let them perform. This is a wonderful game. Wish College Game Day was here. And for me, the biggest game of the weekend. I've got Pitt in this one. They both got SMU guys. And that is 3 Bold Takes. As always, we're partnered with SeatGeek. Use our code 3BoldTakes for $20 off. And for us, we're signing off for Quinn, Chase, and Freddie. Thanks so much for watching, guys.